Sometime between April 30th and September 10th, 1945, 4 American Marines were flying above a Nazi abandoned airfield. It is speculated that their plane had been carrying a crate of Element 115. Suddenly, for some unknown reason, the plane hit a fault and came crash landing into the Nazi abandoned airfield. Upon their awakening, they found that the Element 115 had infected the villagers in the surrounding areas, causing them to mutate into our very first sight of the zombies. The 4 Marines quickly retreated back into the Nazi-controlled territory, but little did they know that this was the origins of our whole zombie storyline. It was here that our 4 Marines then had to survive the endless waves of the undead, but it was only a matter of time before they were to discover their true fate. During their time at the Night of the Undead, they discovered that since it had been abandoned, they were not the first ones here. Writing on the wall states you must ascend from darkness and salvation lies above. It is unknown what became of the Marines, but we can suspect that they eventually were overcome by the zombie horde. However, we learned by Treyarch's official site in a mysterious radio transmission that this is not the first outbreak that has happened at Nacht der Untoten. Meanwhile, over in transit, the Americans built a prototype of Nacht der Untoten. In the cornfields, you can see we have a complete rebuild and replica of Nacht der Untoten. It is believed this was built by the US Army as a prototype and as a way for them to understand the research and the layout of the buildings in Nazi Germany. It could have been that the US were planning to invade this Nazi airfield when it was active, and in order to get a better idea of the layout and for their mission to be successful straight away, they built this prototype for them to practice before they went to Nazi Germany itself to infiltrate the actual structure. However, we can find this prototype within transit. Now in Black Ops 1 Zombies, we find that we return to Nacht der Untoten, but this time with our original crew. Takio, Dempsey, Nikolai and Richthofen return back to Nacht der Untoten, but it's unclear whether they arrived before the original Marines or after. However, once again, it is sometime between April 30th and September 10th, 1945. The mission of why our original characters are at Nacht der Untoten in the first place once again is unknown, but it's believed that it could be to find out the research that was going on here with Group 601. Very little is known about Group 601. In fact, the only bit of information we have about them is this image. You can see we have the Group 935 logo with Group 601 in the middle. Surrounding it, we have a nuke and some pylons with some German writing. Once translated, it says Stage 2, Strength by Regulation. From this, we can assume that Group 601 is kind of like an offspring of Group 935, where they are researching more on the sides of communication, possibly even mind control. In the background of this image, you can see we have pylons that are lit up, and the only bit of evidence we really have to show that Group 601 could have been involved with Nacht der Untoten is the fact that we see a pylon looking very similar in the background in Nacht. I know it's very little, and in fact we can't really take anything out of this, but if there is a backstory to Nacht der Untoten, then it could possibly be that Group 601 was involved and working here. And if that's the case, that could be the reason why our original characters came back to Nacht der Untoten. Apart from that, we get no explanation, and that really is all of the story we have about this map. Back in World at War, when this was our first Zombies map, we know Treyarch never intended for this to be what it is now, and for that reason there really are no Easter eggs or storyline behind this. They have expanded on it over the years. Now before I go, I do want to show you the very first Easter egg we had in Zombies. It is a musical Easter egg. It's a radio, and when knifed or shot it will play music. Now in World at War it plays various songs such as the Black Cat soundtrack, the Red Army theme and a few others, but in Black Ops it plays songs mostly from the Dead Ops arcade soundtrack. And I think this really is a forgotten Easter egg. In fact, throughout all this time we've had Zombies, never even knew about this. I never knew about this radio that plays music in Nacht der Untoten, the very first Easter egg we had in Zombies. In the Black Ops version, there is also another musical Easter egg that you can activate by shooting all of the barrels. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to show you the first Easter egg we ever got. Hopefully you have enjoyed the video. This was just the first pilot episode into discovering the whole zombie storyline map by map. So if you have enjoyed this video, let me know by dropping a like rating. And if you want more on this series, if you want a Varuk next, let me know by leaving a like rating and a comment in the comment section below. I've also thought about exploring random old Easter eggs throughout Zombies, bringing them back up and seeing what relevance they have now. So again, if you want to see any of that, any ideas you have, leave them all in the comment section below. Hopefully you've enjoyed the story of Nacht der Untoten, the origins of Zombies. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more videos on my channel, and of course I will see you in the next one. Thank you and goodbye.